Very good. Hi, how are you doing? Uh, I hope you're fine. Welcome to this year, and as part to my package this time round, of we're going to dig into the main issue, and this would involve looking deeply into the themes that are conveyed in this text, "Blossoms of the Savannah" by Henry Ole, and there are several themes. Yeah, there are several themes which are being depicted or being conveyed throughout the text. But among them is the theme of change. We have the theme of cultural conflict. We have the theme of Jovenism. And without going any further, I would straight away go into one of the themes that I've decided to talk about today, and it's just one of the very many themes that I'm going to be talking about. And I need you to brace yourself in a comfortable place, a book to write on, a notebook if you are close to a book, and a pen, hopefully. And let's go through this work together and see if we can manage any of the examiner's expectations. Because by the end of this particular session or this video session, I would expect that you have internalized something as part of the text is concerned. So, welcome. Yes, welcome. I just want to remind you that this is paper 3 work. It is entirely essay writing based on that compulsory text. But for this year's student, those are about to sit for their year, ND exams. And with me is a question, an examinable one, an exam style question with an exam style sample response that is characterized rather to fit the expectations of the examiners, and I hope by the end of it will enlighten you or be able to shed light on it. So you'll be tested like this. Change is inevitable. Write giving explanations to this statement referring to the text "Blossoms of the Savannah." Change is inevitable. Write giving explanation to this statement referring to the text "Blossoms of the Savannah." Sample answer. Change refers to transition or transformation of characters or situations. Most of the changes in the novel "Blossoms of the Savannah" are caused by the erosion of the Ma culture as a result of its coming into contact with modern culture or civilization. This causes alienation in characters, and as a result they change. The Ole Kaelos are forced to, by destiny rather, to relocate to Nasila after his retrenchment. This came as a thunderbolt at midday. That is, you can find that on page 7. The environment in Kaelo's new home in Nasila is different from that in the urban home in Nakuru. Taiyo and Resian are woken up the first day in Nasila by, quote unquote, a lively chatter of birds in the trees surrounding the house. What a contrast to what they were used to in Nakuru. That is on page 14. In Nakuru, they were always woken up by hoots from Matatus, touts, shouts, engine revving, and banging on vehicles. So, therefore, Nasila culture is changing due to alienation. Mama Milanoi cannot believe she can have a man as old as Olosidori as her mother-in-law. She observes that in the past, such a thing would not have happened, for quote unquote culture would not have allowed it to happen. You can find that on page 111. She feels that even Nasila culture was intact, such a thing would not have happened, and she wonders, and I quote from the text, where that culture had fled to had the culture become moribund, useless, and impotent. You can equally find that on page 117. Now, this could be true because forced marriages to old people were not there in the past, and any old woman who showed interest in a young girl was met with much retribution from women and the entire community. So therefore, society, oh, that was a continuation. So on page 115 to page 117, you can find that one there. So the traditional Nasila culture had many advantages to the people. It regulated lives of people, defined relationships, did not favor, discriminate, and above all, was cherished by all. Sadly, according to Mama Milanoi, this culture was no more. It was defiled and polluted by the likes of Ole Sudori, who had become mutable and contained deviant mutants that it could not regulate and which were above Nasila laws. Page 118. One of the causes of this great change in Nasila culture is education for Mama Milanoi. Goes on to observe that she had seen changes in her daughters. They had gone through a school system that intermingled them with children from other cultures. Page 118. As a result, her children know very little of Nasila culture. They were children of the new and undefined culture. Theirs was a mutant of another kind. Page 118. Indeed, Resian best exemplifies the epitome of this new undefined culture. Joseph Pamwat observes that individualism, petty jealousy, and lack of trust killed that one important aspect of Nasila culture. Page 127. The individualism of the likes of Ole Kaelo and Onisidori are very central in eroding the culture of Nasila, hence bringing many changes in the society. According to Taiyo, culture and traditions are never static, she says. By being dynamic, culture shades off aspects that become irrelevant with time. Page 128. She hopes that the outdated FGM and restrictions on interclan marriages should be abolished from Nasila cultural practices. Joseph and Minik cites cultural practices like throwing the dead to the hyenas, leaving the elderly and sick in these deserted homesteads to be devoured by wild animals, and Emwata. That is page 128 and 263. This ascertains the dynamism, that transformational characteristics of Nasilian culture over the years, an aspect that gives hope to fighters against outdated practices such as FGM. Joseph Pamwat